I was a product of my environment. You know,
Okay.
I tell people all the time, I didn't have to do half the things I did. You know, but being in that environment, you kind of get caught up in it, and a lot of times you don't even see it coming. It's just it's what you do. You know, it's like when I was younger, we played football on the block. You know, we played
Right.
football. You know, coming up, we did those things together. We played all kind of games. We played ball coming up, and then next
Right.
thing you know, you start getting older, and you know, you talking about the '80s transitioning to the '90s. Hustling is a big thing at that
Right.
time.
It was big during that
It was
time.
big at
Right.
that time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm from the era of you get 25 off 100. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So everybody else was doing it, and like I said, I didn't have to do it. Like you said, I had both parents. I didn't have to do it.
Mhm.
But being in that environment, that's what was going on. All my homies around me was doing it, and it
Mhm.
was just like it was something that we did. You
Right.
know, and like I said, it was something I definitely didn't have to do. But I
Right.
never you know how kids, especially you being young, they try to make you feel like you lame if you don't do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I was young, I try to be the furthest thing from lame. So,
Right. Right.
if that's what we doing, I guess that's what we doing,
Right.
But I just got caught up in my environment. Like, it's a real thing. Your environment is definitely, I think we all know, it's definitely a real thing. If you're
Yeah.
in that environment, you can easily become a part of that.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking, to do it or not. So yeah, so I just got caught up in the things that was going on around me.
Right. I remember a time because we used to spend a lot of time at each other's houses a lot,
Right,
although we lived in different parts of the city.
right.
But we would travel often to each other's houses, as we did with all our friends, our group of
Right,
friends.
absolutely.
But I remember a time when you came down with a few of our other friends, and you and another friend had guns when y'all came down. So we just packed them in the house,
Oh
put them in
yeah,
my room.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to the course and played ball as
Yeah,
if
it was
nothing.
a
Yeah,
regular thing.
yeah, it was
It
a
was it
regular
was a
thing. Right,
regular thing. Like, yeah,
right, right.
especially during that time. Like we,
Yeah,
kept it on us. And once again, also outside of hustling, we from the era of the stick up kids. So
right.
I mean, it was a lot going
It
on.
was a
You got
lot going
stick
on.
up
Yeah,
kids,
yeah,
you hustling and
yeah.
all that going on. So yeah, I started carrying early. I was young.
Yeah,
When I got my
yeah,
first gun, I was young, but and I kept it on me ever since. Like,
yeah.
I think from the time I started carrying, I probably spent about 3 years of my life not having a gun.
Right.
By
And let's
that
be clear,
time,
what you wasn't carrying with a license, right?
oh no, no,
No
no,
license.
yeah,
We didn't carry with license back then. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, no,
And
no, 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 no.
also coming from where we came from, it wasn't we wasn't hunting. We didn't carry
No,
guns for
no, he
hunting.
wasn't hunting, yo. And then you had
No.
to find somebody who you knew that they was clean. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
dirty. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know, you had, back then you had to find a plug that was getting them straight out the box. So that was the thing you had to go through. So yeah, guns wasn't a thing for us at the time.
Yeah, you know the interesting part, man, is I had my first one probably when I was in seventh grade, seventh or eighth grade.
That's
Um,
young.
yeah, yeah. And I don't like guns to this day.
Word,
Yeah, yeah, I don't.
word.
I don't, man.
That's
So it's just interesting that it's our environment. Just like you said, it's
it's
our
our environment.
environments, and
It's our environment. It's
you
definitely
do
that.
certain things, whether it's for protection or for other reasons.
Right, right.
But yeah, man, I don't like them to this day.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
It's not. You know what? I'm not. I don't have a gun fetish like I did when I was young, but I still keep it on me. But it's just for protection and
right,
for myself and for my loved ones. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Definitely I still carry, but it's for a different reason now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
different reason.
You have a family
My
now.
motives are different.
Yeah, motives are different,
Yeah,
right,
the
right.
motives are different.
So, so you're now in a situation where you're transitioning to Atlanta. So now, what is your thought process? Obviously, your family growing up, having your girls grow up in a different environment.
Right.
So, career wise, because now you're 21, so you're a young adult or 20. So career wise, what are you doing next? You still was pretty young, but
Well, my brother-in-law, like I told him when he wanted me to move out there, I said, man, I don't even have a job. And he was
yeah,
like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got this little situation out here. I got this little job, and I'm like the manager. I can hire whoever.
okay,
And it was like everything I said, he just had an answer for it. You know what I
okay,
mean? So it was just like he had me boxed in where I couldn't say, anything that really would
couldn't
keep
give
me
him an
coming out there.
excuse. Yeah, okay,
So I went out there and I started this it was a little inventory job. And at the time I looked at it as just something to just make ends meet. But being there over time, I started learning different things. And I felt like just, being a product of the East, you know what I mean? I felt like I had a certain level of intelligence where I can kind of, make some moves within this thing. But they actually came to me and just saw my work ethic and stuff like that. And before I knew it, I moved up into management.
okay.
So yeah, and then I stuck with that for a lot of years. I've been in management doing that for many years. I counted the other month. I think I traveled to like 33 different states
Okay.
doing that job. And in between going in and out, training different offices and stuff like that and working different places. But yeah, I had that job for a long time.
So yeah, so let's get into the good stuff. Also, when you went to Atlanta, so we knew you here in Philly as Brad. You went to Atlanta and became Brody Raw. So tell that story. How did that come about?
Oh man, now that story. Uh,
Actually, we didn't only know you as Brad. We knew you as the singer Brad. Like you used to
yeah, yeah,
sing when
yeah,
you was
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and then you went there and you was a rapper.
I was a rapper.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
a rapper.
So tell that
Well,
story.
well, I always could rap. I always could rap. I was known for my singing, but I
Mhm.
always even my mom knew I could rap, and I was like 12. So I was always a student of the game. And I go as far as back as like Boogie Down Production was like the first group I really studied, KRS
Okay,
and then as when the 90s came about, Mobb Deep, Nas and all of them. So I really studied rap. I love lyricism.
okay.
I started with poetry back in elementary school. Like I love putting words together and making them make sense and playing with double entendres and different
Hmm.
metaphors. And that was something I really got into and I always loved it. It was a passion of mine, but I was low key about it. Then the rap thing started picking up. I was working with a few dudes, and they was put me on to different people, and we were having ciphers and stuff like that. Like the rap thing started.
This was in Atlanta or Philly?
It's in Philly. This is in Philly.
Okay,
So I'm doing my thing. Like I said, I went to a couple of little studios, but I just did a lot of writing. Well, a lot of writing, but I didn't use pen and pad. I wrote in my head.
okay,
Not freestyle. I just wrote in my head. I had a younger mind back then.
okay,
I would make complete songs. I had like a bunch of songs in my head that I never wrote down.
okay.
So I was doing it like that. Then one year,
Do you remember like a first rap?
yeah, I do actually.
You do? Yeah,
You and
yeah.
that, do you? Don't ask me to do it. Don't ask me
Okay.
to do it.
You don't remember
So,
the words though. Okay.
it was in the 80s. It was in the 80s.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my cousin, he was so now we like fresh out of high school at this point.
Okay.
Fresh out of high school. My cousin, he called me up one day and he was like, yo, my birthday. Matter of fact, he just the anniversary of his death was just a few days back. But he called me up and he said, yo, my birthday coming up, man. Come down, come rock with me. So that was like a Tuesday. And
Hmm.
I hit up Rob. I hit Rob, mutual friend of ours. I called Rob and I said, hey, yo, my cousin told me I'm going to Atlanta on, this week or whatever. And he was like, let's do it. And I was like, what? So it was like a Tuesday. And we flew out that Thursday. Flew out that Thursday. We got there. We had a good time. First time going to Club 112, the infamous 112. did all that, and then we was about to go to the airport. We stopped at a studio on Old National Highway, and my cousin was like, "Hey man, let my cousin rap, let my cousin rap." And they was like, "Boo not here, Boo not here." They didn't want to cut nothing on. They didn't want to do nothing. And I was
Okay.
cool because I was always shy about my talents. I didn't want to rap anyway. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm cool. Let's just get in the plane. But he kept saying he wanted me to rap and they wouldn't do it. So they put some corny beat on or whatever. So I went in there and spit a few bars and
So this is a unique part. The Brody Raw was actually a gospel rapper,
yes,
correct?
right.
Yes.
So I'm just taking you into how I got there.
Okay, so when you were freestyling, was it gospel
No,
or
no,
no?
no,
No.
no, no.
Okay.
I'm just regular rap, just spitting.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and then next thing you know, I can't hear because I'm in a soundproof booth, so I can't hear what's going on out there. But it's a lot of movement. They moving left and right. They signaling to each other and they throwing stuff across the room. They cutting on every light. All the lights is cutting on. Robert is out there making all these different gestures. I'm like, what's
Okay.
going on? You know what I mean? And then my cousin like, keep going. So they playing all kind of beats in there. So I'm just going at it. I spit 1,000 bars. I don't know. I'm just spitting. I had fun. It was a fun thing for me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I didn't have a lot of studio experience, so that was cool. So I did that, and then all right, we out. We're gonna go get in the plane. We get in the plane. I land. He like your cousin said, call him. It's important. I'm like, I just seen dude. Like, I can imagine what he wants so fast. I just seen him unless I left something that was important.
Mhm.
So I call him up, and apparently, somebody got a package from a record exec to sign artists, and wanted me to take the first flight down the next morning.
Okay.
And this I'm like, this ain't real life. This don't happen like that.
Right.
I
Right.
told my cousin, I said, I got work tomorrow, man.
Right. Right.
He was like, B, you understand what's happening? Like, he wants to sign you to a deal. You know what I
So
mean?
your cousin was in the music business.
He was all around it. He was all around it. He was around a lot of different things. Like he can connect you to anybody, everybody.
Okay.
He was the plug all the way around. And he was always very supportive of me, always supportive of me. So, he was telling me to come down and sign. I said, nah, what I'm saying? I gotta go to work, man. So I'm just thinking like it can't be that easy. You know what I
Right.
mean? At that time, that was, when people would try to sneak their demos around and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
you're not going to tell me I come up here, spit a few bars in the studio, and I go home and I got a deal on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a little bit, I think it might have been a month, maybe. No, it was a few months during that time. And my cousin was calling me on my job. He kept saying, yo, you need to come sign this contract. And during that time was when I went through getting shot and everything.
Okay.
So I wasn't doing at the time I wasn't trying to sign a contract at the time anyway, just being young and just not really knowing. I'm always a super safe person, but
Okay.
sometimes being so super safe sometimes have gotten in my way
Yeah.
of you know what I mean, of possibly being successful in different things, just to be honest with you. So that's when I said, no, I'm good. I hung it up. That's that for that. Then I moved, like you said, we spoke about earlier, I moved to Atlanta. Now that's when I started hearing the spiritual rap, gospel rap. It was on the radio.
Okay.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, it was horrible.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
it was cringy. But I'm listening to it, being critical of it. I'm listening to it like it's just trash. I'm just going off. So he said, well, if it's so it's so bad, whatever, why don't you go show them how to do it?
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I will,
Right.
and
Right.
and that's what I said. I said I will. And I really wasn't serious about it at the time. But then I heard them say a guy said something about where they were going to be on the radio. So I popped up and I rolled up on the dude that was running everything. And I said, yo, I want in. I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a conversation. He said, he gave me this information and said, send me something. So I sent it to him,
Mhm.
and I recorded. Um, my man, I recorded in Rogan Studios, laid a few things down, sent him something, and then I left it at that. And then I
Okay.
called him. I called him. I called him a lot. I called him. I just wanted to know because this is my first time doing something like this,
Okay.
and I wanted to know what he thought about it.
Hmm.
So I called him, and he wasn't answering for days. He finally answered, and when he answered, he said, "Yeah, I got all 30 of your messages."
Right.
So I was like, "My bad, yo."
Right.
I just wanted to know what you think. I mean, so yeah, he picked me up just to cut through. Just cut through some things. He took me to a show. Um, and he wanted me. They had like a little open mic session.
Who is he, like a manager
He
or?
actually was. He was actually. He was a personality, a radio personality. He
Oh,
was at a
radio
radio
person.
station.
Okay.
He
Okay.
was at a radio station. And he picked me up from my crib. He picked me up from the crib. We went out there, and I rapped. It was an open mic session. It was an actual show, but they had a little segment where they had open mic, and
Okay.
I rapped. Like I said, just to cut through it, it was funny because when I was rapping, they were all moving. This is South, so they did a lot of dancing and snapping and popping and jumping.
Okay.
When I was rapping, nobody moved.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm trash.
Right.
I was like, I
Right.
said, yo, they lied to me all this time. Like,
Right.
no,
Right.
like,
Right.
So, but it was funny because he was the only one pumping his fist. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Yo, you see how that way. So, but he told me, he said, no, man, they're not used to hearing lyricism. You
Right.
know, he said they pretty much captivated. And I was like, I don't think so. So
Right.
they went back. So they did another session. And long story short, I went back up there and the
So
guy
why, let me ask you this. Why rap? Why not sing? Why you didn't sing?
that,
Because most gospel is song, right?
it's
Is
well, you
not.
know what, Black. I'm telling you, oh sorry, but I never singing was something I could do, but I never had a passion for it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was just, I mean, my dad could sing, my sister
Okay.
could sing. It was just something that my family can do easy, you know. But I never had a passion for it. I had
Okay.
a passion for hip hop.
Okay.
So that's why I never really got into the singing thing, you know what I mean? But I really wasn't even, well, at that time I was getting into the rap thing. So they did a second session of the open mic, and the guy came directly to me. He went past, there was a lot of guys on stage. He went past everybody and he handed me the mic. And I said, oh, all right. So I stepped out there with a lot more confidence. I did my thing. And then the guy from the radio station said, I'm gonna pick you up first thing in the morning. We're gonna bring you up to the studio. We're gonna prepare your song. And then after that, that's when we started recording. That's how
Oh, okay.
everything.
How long was your career? How long did it last?
Very short.
You had a CD. How many CDs did you?
This is interesting. I only cut one, and I cut one, and then we were building on the second one, and the second one was really fire, but we never put it out. The reason why I only did one was because I got a taste of the music business, and I
Okay.
hated it.
Okay.
It's so underhanded. It's so shisty. I didn't want to be a part of it.
And Brad, where's your cousin now that
He
put you
passed
on?
away.
He
He
passed
passed
away.
away. He passed away in a car accident.
Okay.
Years ago. Years
Okay.
ago. So, but yeah, he passed away. But it was so, and it was interesting because, even when he passed away, we were meeting up at a studio that next day.
Okay.
Meeting up. I told.